Good morning. As we go to the Chitas of today, we're holding Friday, the sixth reading of the portion of Nitzavim. We're holding on chapter 30, verse number 11. Ki mitzvah azos, for this commandment, Asher neichem mitzavcha hayom, which I command you today, lo neflesihi mimach. It is not very high for you, it's not very concealed for you. Neither is it far from you. Rashi says, Neflesi, I said high for you. Rashi says it's concealed for you. Rashi translated as mechusa. Nifla is something that is a wonder. As the verse says in Deuteronomy, Ki Yifla, which a Targum translated Ad Yischasi, something which is hidden. So the Torah says it's not hidden for you. There's no secrets. It's not in the heavens. It's not in the heavens that somebody should say, who can go up to the heavens? We can take it for us. We shall hear it. You don't have to go up to heavens. Rashi says, for if it wasn't heavens, we would have climbed up to heavens and learned it. Baruch Hashem, it's not in the heavens, it's on the earth. Torah is not in the heavens, it's right here. Neither it's beyond the sea. Somebody can say, who will cross the other side of the sea? And bring it to us. And we will listen to it, but not and we'll do it. Rather, the Torah, this thing is very close to you. In your mouth, in your heart, Rashi says the Torah was given to you in a writing, accompanied with oral explanations. And as the Alter Rebbe, which we're going to go now to, the whole Tanya is written on this verse. The Torah is very close to you, in your heart, in your mouth, and in your heart. And that completes the Chumash for today. Now I go to the Tanya of the day. We are in the middle of the 19th letter of the Alter Rebbe, the 19th letter in Tanya. And the Alter Rebbe is explaining how there is chitzonius more in depth, how there's a concept of an outer, a charayim, the outside, the backside, and there's a pnimis, there's the inner side of things. So in the way there's a concept with Moshe Rabbeinu. That's why what the prayer of Moshe Rabbeinu was: let me see your inner Pnimi, let me see Pnei Hashem, let me see the essence of God. I want to see that. And God says to him, nobody has seen the face of God and lived. We're not capable of seeing Pnimius. We're not capable of seeing the concept of the essence of things. The Alter Rebbe is also going to explain the concept of Chachma, because the Torah is the Chachma of the Eibishter. The Torah is the wisdom of God, and that alone is also, that's why whatever we can comprehend of Torah, of the Torah in this world, is acharayim, is really the outside. It's very hard. It's impossible for them. Even King Solomon said that he received the greatest wisdom. It says, I realize how far wisdom is, because Pnimis HaChachma, the essence of the Torah, is impossible for a human being to ultimately comprehend. And this is what the Alter Rebbe continues to explain. In Mechinas Chachmas Elikos, and the aspect of the blessed divine wisdom that is vested. That's vested in the 630 commandments of the Torah. It's called in Kabbalah and the Zohar, it's called the backside of Chachma. It's the hindmost aspect of wisdom. After that, the previous said, Moshe Rabbeinu's prophetic comprehension of the spheres of Chachma consists merely of Acharayim, the hindmost aspect of Chachma. He then went on to say that the source of the Torah in the Chachma is the same, for it too transcends reason. Right? So even though what we understand, all the reasoning that we comprehend in Chachma is only Acharayim the Chachma, is only the backside of it. It's the Hitzonius. It's not the essence reason. The essence reason of every mitzvah is beyond our comprehension. Alter Rebbe now says, and he's now saying that's number C, that even the Chachma vested in 630 commandments is referred to no more as Acharayim of Chachma. Not only in the Torah is it Acharayim the Chachma, but also in every commandment, it's only Acharayim, the backside of Chachma. Kol Acharayim shebesfiras, for all Acharayim is the hind part, the backside, the outer shell, the vessel. You can add many words to the word Acharayim. And what it does the opposite of Pnimius. Panim and Acharayim, your face and your backside. So you have your face. Yisa Hashem Panim Elechav. That's it. So Panim also is Pnimius. Acharayim is Chutzonius. So Panim is the essence or the inner, and Acharayim is the backside, the outer, the furthermost, etc. These are all the words of Acharayim. Also comes Achar, another, Achedim, others. So there are those that are Pnimius, and those Acharayim. So Acharayim is one of the spheres that are external and lower level within the spheres, which are capable of descending and extending downwards. Mashiachal leilas pashlamata, lislavish biruyim lachayosam, to be able to invest it in creative beings in order to animate them. But the aspect of panim, which means the face, or over here it means the inner dimension. The sphere the itself. Which each sphere, the oil, means the sphere is the oil. Sphere is that shines. The sphere itself, the oil itself, the light itself is united with its emanator. Oil is the general rule. Davik b'matzel. The light is always connected to its source. That's the difference between oil and keli, and the vessel. That's the difference between Pnimius and Acharayim. The difference is Pnimius is the oil is always connected to its source, while the vessel or the Acharayim, the backside of the nethermost, is not connected seemingly, because everything is ultimately connected to God, but seemingly has its own identity, like a vessel and its light. The vessel seemingly has its own identity. The blessed Ein Sof, an absolute union. So oil is always davik b'matzel. The oil is always connected to the ma'or, to the source of light, because it's the oil. That's make common sense. If the oil would be disconnected, it would lose its light. So the needs to be always connected, and that's the fact of Ur is always connected. Light is always connected to its source. Then, I'll give you an example. The Alter Rebbe says, the sphere of Chachma, wisdom, the concept of wisdom. Not the way wisdom is understood, because that's the way wisdom comes into its vessel. The concept of wisdom, where King Solomon said, I acquired wisdom, but it's far from me. The concept of wisdom, the light of wisdom, the light of wisdom of God, even as it comes into the pasuk, even as it comes into a law, it's still wisdom. it's still the wisdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that wisdom is connected to God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'chachmasei, as Alter Rebbe said many times, based also that Maimonides says that the Eibush and his wisdom is one. So you can't separate. That's the difference between humans and their wisdom. There's the person and his what in his wisdom. By God, there's no separation. As the Rambam, he's the knower and the knowledge and the known. Which to a human being, it's hard to comprehend that. That's why our wisdom doesn't even comprehend the real aspect of wisdom. Our wisdom only comprehends a very far-fetched and very acharayim of wisdom. Because true wisdom is part of God. And again, that's why King Solomon says, I that have acquired wisdom realize how far wisdom is. Or as the Pirkei Avos says, if somebody says he acquired wisdom, if somebody has said that I have acquired wisdom, he doesn't know what wisdom is. Wisdom cannot be acquired. That's why we're called a Talmud Chacham, a student of wisdom. A smart man is called a Talmud Chacham in the Gemara, a student of wisdom. We are all students of wisdom. We have wisdom. We don't know, if we think we have wisdom, we don't know what wisdom is. Because wisdom, the concept of wisdom in itself, is part of God, which we cannot comprehend. That we can understand God's wisdom. We do understand. We learn the Torah. We understand, and the Torah itself says, the Torah is the wisdom and understanding of every Jew. That we radiates wisdom. You can learn Torah, you can learn Gemara, you can learn Chassidus, and we all can acquire the wisdom of God. That comes into a finite nether being. And the Torah wants to become enclosed in a person. That's why the Torah is also called bread, because the Torah wants to become enclosed. As I said, it becomes your wisdom. Nikra Acharayim is all called the backside. So you look in the explanation of here, light is that merely radiates and extends, does not necessarily contract according to limitations, the recipient of the light. It may radiate and extend in an encompassing manner, and thus not the subject to them. However, when the illumination is vested within the receptor, this applies adjustment to its limitation. Hence, the light that becomes vested into finite created beings cannot possibly be infinite, as it would be the case of the actual sphere as united with an emanator, and thus infinite as its emanator would descend into created beings. Therefore, the life-giving force was vested into creation, Nikra Acharayim, is called the external aspect of the sphere. It's not the light itself. It is the external aspect of this light, and not the sphere itself, not the light itself. So the way the light comes into a vessel, now we can have an acquirement and receive the vessel. We can receive the way the light comes into an external concept. Like, for example, if you have a very strong light, in a physical way, if you have a very strong light that you cannot look at, let's say like when the sun, you cannot look at, you put sunglasses. So you have to put the light into a vessel to be able to handle that light. So now once the light comes into a vessel, which in Sfiris is, you have the, like, let's say we explained before, you have the concept of Ava, that's the light. And what is the vessel? Chesed. The vessel is chesed. If I cannot do chesed, I have no Ava. My light has no vessel. I can have a lot of love, but to nothing, because it has not come into a vessel. The vessel of light, of Ava, is chesed. And that's why the truth is, Ava can be unlimited. Chesed means to the other person. I have to be a Baal Chesed. The second I have to have Chesed, then I have to take that other person into consideration because I have to be kind. If I just love without kindness, I don't take the vessel of kindness, then the love has nothing. The love is ultimately unlimited. It's unlimited. This is also called the vessel. It's called the Asiya, the action of the world of Atzilus. Yeah, the world of Atzilus, the Oish of Atzilus, the light of Atzilus, which is beyond our world. And then you have Asiya of Atzilus. You have the concept, the eternal aspect of Chachma of Atzilus, as it being allusion to the world of Atzilus in terms of the level of Asiya within Atzilus. It's like the physical of Atzilus. Asiya means the physical, the outer side of Atzilus. So you have the concept. You can explain it in a simple way. You have the action and you have the purpose of the action. The action might be very limited. The purpose might be unlimited, and that's why actions can have effects many and can affect for now, for the future, because it's the purpose of the action. It's the kavanah in the action that gives the life to this action. And that's why you can have a dead action, or you can have a light, you can have a action that lasts. That's why in particular terms, your mitzvah lasts forever. Mitzvah is an action, but your mitzvah will last forever because it's connected to the or, to the light that's in the mitzvah. That's unlimited. Give you another analogy. Take a human being. Then in Kabbalah and Siddur we learn that there are 5 levels to every soul. One that goes lower than the other. Right? We have nefesh, ruach. I'm going from the bottom. The lowest is nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida. There are 5 levels to every soul. Sheheim bechinas. What is these 5 levels? These 5 levels comprises haseichel v'amidas v'machshava diva ma'isa. They are the faculty of intellect, the emotive attributes, thought, speech, and action, which action is the lowest of them all. Meaning the soul manifests itself in action in a much less degree than it does in the other 4 levels. So the nefesh, which is the action of the soul, the nefesh, is a very low voltage. Because in action, when the neshama has to come down into a physical thing, it automatically needs to it needs to contract itself. It needs to lose, so to say, in a way, its infinite aspect. Because to be able to give nefesh, my nefesh, to give life force to my body, if it would be in the strength of the soul, the way it is, the body would not handle it. So therefore, the soul has to contract itself to be able to come down into a nefesh, to give life to me. Because the life force that extends from the soul, and it's invested in the faculty of action. Who ke'ein legabe chayus hamishpashim imenim lu b'keich hadibur. It's no comparison, even in myself. There's no comparison to the life force that comes to give me action, to the life force that gives me speech. There's no comparison, the life force that I'm in a neshama for speech, to the life force that goes into the emotions and the intellect. So everything, that's why the daigas, nefesh is action. Ruach is a concept of my emotions of my neshama. And neshama is the seichel sheb neshama, the intellect of the neshama. And then you have chaya, life force of the soul, and the yechida, the oneness of the soul. That's why we say most of us can have the capability of the Alter Rebbe explained in Tanya, Naran Sheben and Shaman, Nun Reish Nun, that we have the basic three components of the soul that we can all attach to our neshama in Naran, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. The Nefesh, the lowest part of the soul, the Ruach, the spirit of the soul, and the Neshama of the soul. The latter, in turn, is nothing compared to life was extended to the soul and invested in thought, and then the motive attributes and the intellect. So the latter three faculties are always within the soul, Naran, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. Even the faculty of thought, which is merely a garment of the soul, one of the means of expression, is always united with it, and therefore, like the soul itself, always in a manifest state. Speech and action, however, are garments that are separate from the soul. And so far as speech is concerned, there's a time to speak and there's a time to refrain from speaking. While action is more distant to the soul than speech. Just like, that's why the Alter Rebbe always said the teachings of the Maggid. I can see for my own self godliness. I to learn from my own being, understanding my own self, my essence, spheres within myself and my soul. I understand godliness because the Torah talks to the concept of man. Excuse me. Precisely like manner. We respect the divine wisdom. In the extent that it can diffuse from it to become vested in the nether beings, that chokmah, that wisdom that can come into human beings, is ultimately comes down into the lowest levels called acharayim. That's like a human being is his action is the lowest level, so too, Chokhmah, the way it's expressed through the world of Atzilus, ultimately must come down in, as he said before, in the what is called Asiya of Atzilus. So you have the part of Atzilus, which is the highest world in Kabbalah, is they have the inner aspect of Atzilus itself, the Ein of Atzilus, the Ein of Chokhmah, that's higher than even Atzilus. In the world of emanation, ultimately the way it comes down in Malchus Atzilus, which is called Dibur, which in comparison, which is the concept of speech, which is also called Knesset Yisrael, which is also called the concept of action, Asiya, in the world of Atzilus. Self-understood in the world of Atzil, and in the world of emanation, things are totally spiritual, and therefore it's only an expression. In comparison to the spirituality that's higher than it, it's called action. But self-understood to the world, it's ayin. To the world, that's real action. That world is totally not a physical thing. So everything is relative. That's the beauty of it. Everything is relative. So what's higher in anything that's higher, even in the spiritual state, one is called Ein and one is called vessel. One is called spirituality, ayin, and one is called a yesh. So in comparison to the lowest level in the world of Atzillah, the outer aspect of the world of Atzillah is called Asiya, action in comparison to its source. And that's the way things roll. That completes the Tanya of the day. And today there's a 27th day, which in Tehillim is chapter 100 in Psalms, is chapter 120 to chapter 134. We are rolling into a Shabbos and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, which is, we're not going to do Tanya. We're not going to do he's not even on Sunday. It's going to be impossible because you have a long slichas and at a Rosh Hashanah. So it's just not going to happen. So I hope that you will continue to learn Achitas by yourself. So not tomorrow and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. and we'll come back together in Mitzvah Hashem on Wednesday. So I want to wish you all, first of all, a good Shabbos, a wonderful Shabbos, the last Shabbos of the year. We should all Shabbos Mevarchim. God blesses the Shabbos for the entire year. So God should bless us all that in Mitzvah Hashem this coming Sunday night, Monday and Tuesday, Rosh Hashanah, we should all be blessed with a ksiva v'chasima teva to be written, signed for a happy and beautiful and wonderful year. Hashanah teva Mesukah should be good and sweet for everybody, for all Am Yisrael, and for the whole world. It should be the ultimate goodness in the world, the coming of Mashiach. Enough is enough. Time for Mashiach to come this upcoming year. And but for the learning of Chitas, hopefully you'll learn by yourself for the next couple of days, and we will come back together, Revine and Minshem, on this coming Wednesday. In general, the Chitas for the next coming up weeks is going to be a little spotty, as the holidays are all in the weekday, so it's going to be the next coming month. You're going to have to learn your Chitas, most of it by yourself. So we will come together when we can, and we'll leave the rest for everybody else. So for yourselves, anybody want to blow shofar for the last time?